Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition, and today we are going to talk about a topic that I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. So we're going to talk about how we can hold off on really embracing our what people would call gifts, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. We're gonna dive into that. We're gonna unpack that one a little bit today. Now, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet because I'm not sure how I want to frame the video. It's funny because I don't edit videos, but I will kind of sometimes cut out the beginning and the end a little bit. And I started this one a couple times and I got to the point of what we were going to talk about and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. So then I started over again and I still don't know what I'm going to say. But I'm going to keep going with this one because I don't want to start it for the third time. I've had a couple conversations lately that really are starting to show more people are coming online with being able to do certain things and being able to feel their energy field more, but they don't realize that's really what they're doing. So they can have a lot of fear come up around that, and I'm going to give you an example of that. I had someone talk to me about how someone house set for them, right? And they have a home that's very, very light, very bright, as far as colors. They're in a lot of nature. The people came over to babysit a small child. So the vibration of the children is very high, especially babies is very high. So the whole situation seemed to be set up like it's a very high vibrational environment to go to. I don't know if I mentioned it, but a lot of nature around, which is another thing that will do that. Not a lot of people around makes the vibration higher because your field's not having to adjust to a lot of people in it. So that's why our vibration can go higher when we're by ourselves than when we're around a lot of people. That's why also I'll tell couples to sleep alone for sometimes when it feels appropriate because their fields need to clear. Your field can't clear when you're laying next to somebody. So, okay, a little bit of a sidetrack, but anyway, so these people came to the house, expecting to have this beautiful experience there, and the experience they had was quite different. They felt very heavy. They felt like what they described as more of like a presence. They felt. I'm going to use the word dark here for the story, and then we'll kind of unpack it. It feels dark. It feels heavy. I felt foggy the whole time I was there. Something's going on with your home. You need to look at that. So, they tell the homeowner this, and the homeowner's like, holy crap, what's going on in my house? I don't know what's going on in my house. So, what is going on? Now we are cued as humans when we're living in our human consciousness. We are cued to think that it's never us. One thing you will find about your humanness and your human consciousness, the unconscious parts of us, it will never take accountability or responsibility for anything. It'll always push it off onto someone else. It's always going to be someone else's issue, someone else's fault. The accountability is never going to be on your human aspect because it won't accept that. Okay. So when we talk about our human aspect, we really want to be able to identify when that's speaking. What's going on here. There's so much fear that these realities get set up for both parties, for a billion different reasons. How many can we see here? Now, on one side, I have people saying there's something wrong with the house. On the other side, the homeowner's freaking out because, oh my God, what do I need to do? Do I need to call a priest? Am I supposed to sage? What's going on here? I don't feel that in the house. So one of the first things that we can kind of see when we break it down is, okay, well, what is going on here? Why is this homeowner going to take someone else's word for it when they love the home? They feel like it has beautiful energy in the home. They feel very like their vibration can increase in the home, even if they can't tangibly put that label on it. That's what they're kind of conveying with their energy about how they feel about it. Yet they're letting someone else tell them there's something wrong with it. We look at the other people who are right away saying, oh, it's something wrong with your home, and not looking at what is going on with them. Anytime we put ourselves in an environment that is possibly a higher vibration than the one we're usually in, we're going to see things happen. We're going to feel foggy and groggy. That's what higher consciousness does. We're going to feel that. We're going to feel anything that's not aligned with that frequency, we're going to start to feel that very heavy on us. We might even feel like we see it outside of us because we're not identifying that with us. I talked before about how people label something the shadow side. It's really your ego, it's the unconscious part of you, but people say it's a shadow, right? One, because people can sometimes see it as a shadow of them, not really them, but a shadow of them. But when you say it like that, the word kind of separates it off from you. And instead, we don't want to separate off from us. We don't want to keep it at arm's length. Like, oh, that's not me. That's my shadow. No, it's you. It's us. We just we don't want to call it that, because then we have to own it. And when we have to own it, that means we have to clean it up. We have to say, okay, what's going on here? So I could look at that situation completely different and say, when someone takes their body into an environment that has a lot of nature, it maybe doesn't have a lot of clutter, it has a child in it, a very small child in it, which is going to blow the vibration right off. Children have the sense to do that. That's why children, one of the many reasons children come in, they come in to raise the vibration of the planet. They're coming in to address any issues going on with the people in the reality with the child. If it's unbalanced, if you have a partnership where it's not balanced, children unmask that very quickly. And people will say, all of a sudden I can see that this is not a balanced relationship, because a child's vibration raises your vibration to where you're able to see it. And it's not that it wasn't unbalanced before, it's just you couldn't see it before. But now your vibration is shifting with the child. Your heart is opening up more. Children happen to do that. Your heart opens up more, which means your stuff's going to come up. So when you have people going through being in a higher vibration for a longer period of time, like a week where they're house setting and babysitting at the same time, you're going to see some of this stuff pop up. But right away, we don't want to own that stuff as ours. Our human wants to say there's something going on with the home, when it's really just, in a sense, that's true. It is the vibration of the home, but it's also what we're clearing when we're in that vibration. So you can see the different things that are going on to create this reality, and how when we look at something from a human perspective, that this is something's wrong here. We really have to look at us. It's always going to come back down to us. What does this have to do with me? What's going on with me? That should always be the question we ask. If we're looking at what's going on with someone else, what's going on with someone else is not our business at all, unless someone asks an opinion on something. It's not our business, because we have so much to keep track of with ourselves and our multidimensionality, and expanding our consciousness and realigning our life to living in soul aligned realities. We don't have time to mess with other people. I'll say it. I've said it a zillion times. If it's not someone in my life, I don't care what they're doing. But I don't care from a human place of I don't care. I don't care from a place, it's not my business. It's not aligned for me to be in the reality. If it was aligned for me to be in the reality, they'd be in my reality. So you can start to see how our higher aspects, our universe kind of can put us in higher vibrational places where we can start to clear stuff. They'll put us in different environments where we're kind of maybe feeling like, well, I don't feel right. I feel sleepy, which is a very higher consciousness sign. When you're in a lot of people, when you listen to higher consciousness material, it makes you sleepy, because it shifts the brainwave state, and you have to integrate the light by sleeping. And that's basically what you're listening to. Higher vibration. It's light encoded technology. It's light information. It's raising the vibration of your body. But to do that, it has to clear everything that's not that vibration. So you can then go back and kind of look at the whole story retold, and revamp that story differently. Now, technically, we can revamp the story differently to a higher vibrational story, still a story. We want to get it to where there's no story. But you can kind of see where we start to pick these realities apart and look at what does hold us back, and that was kind of a long way to get to the purpose of why I was going to do this. But it does show that there is a fear of different things. We have these human fears in place of something else. I see that a lot when people talk about channeling, and I don't want to channel something that's not as bad, good and bad. We don't use the terms on this channel. I don't say good and bad unless I'm just for a reference, for a point of the story, for telling the story, because there is no good and bad. We can only channel ourselves. We're only going to tap into ourselves, whether it's something we don't like in ourselves and we're trying to transcend, or it's something we want to bring in. It's just us. There's nothing else out there. I did a video a couple weeks ago on the third eye, and I had someone comment like, "Oh my gosh, your third eye tingles. You should." That's really serious, and they were. There's a lot of fear around that stuff. What happens when your third eye tingles? Why is there so much fear around opening up? There's a fear around precognition, being able to see different things. There's a fear around telepathy. There's a fear around other people when they talk about telepathy. They don't. Nobody wants you reading their thoughts. What people don't understand is when you're in the human consciousness, that understanding's not there. Everyone's reading everybody else's energy field. When you're in your human consciousness, you're not registering it consciously, but you're still registering the information. You're just not registering it in a conscious way. Some people register it I register it in a conscious way where I can hear it, I can see it, but everyone is doing it. It's just not as you're just not doing it consciously. You're always doing it. When you try to make your physical body bigger, which we've talked about lots of times, it's because we're energetically feeling small. Who do we do that around? These are little telltale signs of things we're doing, but we don't want to name them as, oh, am I reading my field? Am I really starting to come online with my other senses, not just my eyes? I'm starting to read my field. I'm starting to feel with my field. And not just feel with my body, I'm feeling with my entire field. I'm able to see different colors. Colors are brighter. I'm starting to hear frequencies. Everyone's going to come online with all these things. It's not one person's more special than somebody else, but there is a time where we need to feel special because we don't feel special. So you go through this process where you do feel special because you never felt special before. But really, none of us are more special because everyone has the capability to do it. They just have a fear about doing it. I see so many people who want to open up to it, but the minute anything starts happening, they want to shut it back down again because they are afraid of it. They're afraid of being able to be that powerful, be able to see how they create things, be able to see how something's going to end, be able to see different. You're going to be privy to certain information. Some information you'll know. I'm going to go on and share that because I feel like that could assist someone else. Some information you'll know that's just for you. It's not for you to share it with anyone else, So there's a lot of different ebbs and flows, and why certain things some people are just more plugged in than other people. They're just a little more open to it than some other people. It doesn't mean everyone doesn't have the same capability. It's if you're afraid of the capability. And I see a lot of fear of opening up to being able to do these things. And even when other people talk to people about it, they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be letting your third eye tingle, or you shouldn't be, using all this stuff or opening up like that. It's dangerous because we have this fear of it. And you can start to see the triggers and the fears of other people when we talk about it. When other people start happening to them, they have this fear they're losing their mind. I've had people come to me that will say that, like, I think about a movie and then I turn on the TV and the movie's on, and it freaks me out because I kind of know ahead of time what's going on. It's like it's the chicken or the egg. Did I create the movie because I thought about it, or did I think about it when it came on? Which one is it? For me, I feel like it's when it's in my field. Like, I know every day I have an outside cat I feed, and if I think usually I feed him around 4, but sometimes around 3:30, I'm like, oh, I gotta put the food out now because he's coming early, because he's now entered my field. Somewhere, and my field is very expansive, so somewhere past the yard, he's somewhere in my field, and I can feel him. I can feel him coming this way, so I'm gonna get the food out early today. There's a lot of things that kind of come in, but we just dismiss them. So a lot of times our power set does come online, our different powers or special gifts, however you want to say it, they do start to come on, but we kind of don't see it. We dismiss it and we trivialize them, or we try to trivialize other people who are doing that. Now, I said in the beginning, well, not the beginning, a few minutes ago, when a lot of these things first come online, we need to feel special because we never feel special. So we might talk about them more. We might kind of say more things about them. We might share dreams with people. We might if we're more precognitive in our dream state. For a lot of people, everyone's precognitive anyway, especially in their dream state, because then we're open to it. There's a reason. It just happens there because you're more open to it there. You're not bound by the human body. You're not bound by your human beliefs. Your consciousness can play. Dreams are activities of the soul. They're not human activities. Now, yes, you'll have more capabilities as your consciousness raises. That's true. You're always going to have more capabilities in both states, waking and sleep. But if you saw this stuff in your sleep state, it doesn't freak you out as much as when you start seeing it in your waking state. When you start seeing it in your waking state, you start to get concerned. You start to be like, oh, what's going on with me? This is so strange. Something is wrong, or something's wrong with my home because I'm feeling, I'm seeing colors on the wall that aren't there, or what is something going on with my eyes? And we try to look for human solutions as to what's going on with us. And there's nothing wrong with us. We're just opening up to our field. So look where you're kind of closed down on that. A lot of times you won't know you are. I did a whole video about body resistance. And a lot of times we think we're open to something, but we're really not. I know there's a couple of realities I could play out that I think I'm open to, but I know deep down I'm not. I can feel my body resistance when something happens to nod toward that reality. When I start to see some of it come in, I can feel my body tighten up. I know I'm not open to it, so I have to work on that because I have that visceral in my body, that feeling that I'm not ready for that. I have fear around that reality. Even though sometimes we'll know certain realities we're going to have to do, even though we have a fear around them, we'll start to really feel that and understand that. It's really being in tune with what you're feeling and where are you afraid that you don't want it to go to the next step. I was very strong clairaudience. I still am very strong clairaudience. But then all the other ones start to come online because I'm just more open. All of a sudden, I am more clairvoyant. And I can see, it's hard to get much stuff by me when I'm watching something on TV or I'm watching a movie. Movies are never fresh, or I know what's going to happen. Even if I've never seen the movie, it doesn't matter. I know what's going to happen. Because you just can see the timeline of the movie. You know how it ends. You don't have to sit through it. Technically it's already happened anyway, so you can just hone in on so many different things. And it's fun. And you see so much fear around it, so much fear when it starts to happen. So really look if there is a fear there. Because we hold ourselves back. There's no one else doing it but us. We have this belief, this fear. And if you try to put that fear on someone else, look at if we do that. Do we see something going on with someone and we're going to put that fear on someone else? Like the story, the example earlier with the people in the house, they're trying to put that fear on somebody else. Now, one, they're activating that fear in that other person to clear, but because they don't understand what's going on, they don't understand why their universe set that whole environment up for them to expand and for them to be able to clear denser energies, that, there was purpose for that. Look at where we feed into the old. I do a lot of videos about feeding into the old fears. Where do we not want to see? Where are we open to seeing, but then we don't, I don't want to see there because I know if I really see that, I got to let that go. There's so much of that we'll do, and we have to stop doing it. We have to really look at ourselves and look at where we're doing it. Where are we holding ourselves back? And that's what we have to, where are we being pushed to go, but we don't want to go? We might be feeling we got to move somewhere, but we don't want to go. And that's the next part of our process. Where are we being called to go? Where do we feel people we're supposed to, that we know are not going to be in our next realities, but we don't want to let go of them? Where do we believe that this is really not happening? I see a lot of that too. Is this really happening? Am I really being able to do and see all this stuff? And we complain in Ascension. I know it goes so slow. Why does it go so slow? Why do these realities take so long? And then when the littlest thing starts to open up, as far as us being able to feel with our field, we completely freak out. And you can see all that fear coming up, which is part of the process and part of why we go through that. So, okay, let's open up. Let's not be afraid. Ask for you be able to have your gifts come in. Ask for that and watch what happens. But when you ask for that, look at what your body does. See if you have any resistance in the body. Okay. Keep practicing the art of intuition.